So tell me how you see yourself. When I ask about your identity, what would you say?
Like me as in like how I view myself,
Yeah,
personality wise, or like
anything you want to say about
okay.
it.
I would consider myself very open minded, um, welcoming. I like making people feel good. Like I don't ever want to be around somebody and be like, oh, you have to put up a front because Fabian's around. No, I like, just be yourself. Um, Down to earth. I appreciate nature a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said dramatic before sometimes.
Yeah, dramatic, but I'm trying not to be like that anymore.
Very closed off person that keeps to myself most of the time. I like a small group of people with me. Um, I would say I'm very artistic, very creative.
About my identity, would I be able to talk about like how I think I view my identity and how people tell me my identity is? Kind of like a different perspective thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not gonna lie, my identity, when I think of myself, I kind of feel like I don't really do too much. I kind of just feel like an everyday, like average Joe. I go to school, go to work. I just hang out with my friends, and I feel like I don't do too much. But lately, when I've been talking to my friends, they've been telling me like, "Oh, Alec, like you're like a really like genuine person," or, you're going into nursing, you're gonna help so many people, and I think it's crazy that we can be told these things about ourselves, but like we can't even see that in ourselves.
So if you had to visualize an image, picture like making a collage
Mm-hmm.
that identifies that represents that identity, like what kind of things would be in there, or what kind of places?
Somewhere maybe like a hill with a lot of trees, a lot of animals, snakes, definitely, foxes.
Now, why that? Why specifically foxes and snakes?
I don't know. For like the past few years, I don't know why I just like kind of identify with them a lot. Like a lot of snakes. The colors are really pretty, but they're also really dangerous.
Oh.
So I feel like I'm very like that. I mean, I'm not saying like I'll bite you or anything, but definitely don't cross me. But because my whole personality and energy around you will change. And foxes are just very like free spirited and
Okay.
beautiful as well, which I try to
And
carry
then they're
myself that way.
in the beautiful nature hill too, so there's some
Yeah.
mostly positive.
Yeah.
My room.
Okay, so that's the location.
Yeah, my car. Just music.
And what kind of emotions would the image convey?
Dang.
Like, how do you think of being closed off?
Oh, it sounds sad. I would say more like a lone type of person. I'm very independent and to myself. Very chill. I would consider I'm like a very chill type of person.
Would you say it's more like chill than lonely? Like you don't think of it necessarily as a
No,
negative
yeah,
thing?
not in a negative way. Like I would enjoy my own company more than others in a way, depending on if I rather be around somebody that are really important to me. If I'm hanging out with that certain person versus myself.
If there was a significant occurrence in your life that represents a life-changing experience or something that contributed greatly to your identity, what would it be?
Probably going off to school and living on my own, because something about like leaving your hometown, and especially Twinsburg, which is kind of like a smaller town, it's just like small-minded, and it's the same faces you see, whereas when you go off to school, you meet so many people from different areas and just different ways of thinking, and you get exposed to a lot that you wouldn't have in your hometown, and I feel like you learn a lot.
And if you had a kind of a dreamlike image about that experience of going away, like what kind of things would be in the image? What kind of objects or locations or anything?
Definitely the road that's taking you to there. So like I always think of like Route 8 when I go up to Akron. A lot of different faces.
If there was a significant occurrence in your life that represented a life-changing experience or something that contributed greatly to your identity, what do you think that would be?
Definitely quarantine. It opened my eyes. Also, yeah, I've been spending a lot of time alone and just getting to know myself and what truly makes me happy and what doesn't.
And do you see yourself as having more than one identity? Like, what are various roles you play in different parts of your life?
Are we speaking like when it comes to other people or just myself?
Well, I guess how you see yourself in relationship to other people, like in relationships or a job or as a son or, you know, whatever.
Okay, so like if we're talking like son, let's say, I'm very different from all my siblings. You know, I'm the gay one, obviously. But they're mostly like they all have like their set goals and they want to plan things ahead, and I'm very like just going with things as they come and go. Same thing with work. I just, you know, I like doing my own thing. I don't like following their specific rules, even though I should be following them. I just kind of like to do my own thing.
Okay.
Might irk people sometimes, but I mean, that's just how I am.
This project is about identity. When I ask you about your identity, what would you say? Is it about how you see yourself, or is it about how other people see you? My identity as a son is different than my identity as a father, and that's different from my identity at work. But surely there's something more profound, more true than just our roles that we play in our identity. A lot of you might be away from home for the first time. You might find that your identity, your role in the family dynamics changes pretty quickly as a young adult. And everybody does have a role in a family. You might be the peacemaker. You might be the organized one that gets things done. You might be the humorous one that messes up but makes everybody laugh. And how your family sees you and reacts to you on a daily basis can really inform how you see yourself. And that's something remarkable about the age that you are right now, because you have an opportunity, and it'll just happen kind of naturally, to redefine your identity, to not see yourself as others see you, but see yourself as you are and as you aspire to be. What kind of image would represent who you are? What about just one prominent aspect of who you are? How would you represent that? How would you communicate that to somebody visually? Is there a certain time or occurrence that helps shape at least one aspect of yourself? How would you represent that? What kind of images would you put in a collage that represented who you are or a certain aspect of who you are? So in this project, make a plan, think about what you want to take photos of. It's going to be a photo-based project. You want to take multiple pictures, and you want to use a good camera. Use a DSLR camera if possible, manual camera with manual settings. But whatever you do, make sure it has plenty of resolution and take good pictures and use good lighting. Good lighting is super important to good images. In the equipment center, you can check out both cameras and lighting. You'll use Photoshop to assemble and complete this collage. We will learn the Photoshop basics. If you're not familiar with them as well, there are tutorial videos showing the basics of Photoshop, and you should do those exercises in order to get up to speed. There'll also be a written portion telling me what it is that you want to communicate with this picture about yourself. How do you see yourself? What is your identity? And how is that identity, or a part of that identity, or an instant in time that reflects something about your identity, how is it communicated? How did you make everything work visually in support of this emotional quality and this understanding of your identity? So it's all about visual communication. In the written portion, there's no wrong answer. I'm not going to tell you, no, that doesn't represent your identity. But what you say you want to represent, we'll talk about what works and what doesn't, about how you've visually communicated that and how you've created a composition, a work of art that functions on an aesthetic level as well as an emotional level and the ability to visually communicate what you want to say. In class, we'll talk about artists that work specifically with identity. And now, here are some student solutions to the project. See if you can see what they're trying to convey about their identity.